Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to the very first NeQter Town Hall of 2024. I hope everybody had a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and we're all going to get off to a great start to the brand new year. And speaking of good starts, we actually are going to have some new things to show you guys on this town hall. We just released our most recent update, 2.17.0. We have a couple of new things to show you, and Patrick will be going over any questions at the end, as always. But feel free to pause us at any time if you're looking at something and you have additional questions in the moment, so that we know to go a little more in depth on it. Patrick, I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. And yeah, happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully we can make it a good one. So 217.0, we're going to get right into it. I'm super excited because I have something new to show on the webinar. We had that update come out day after Christmas, I believe, or maybe the Wednesday. So it's relatively new. And we're going to cover everything that we introduced in that update. So we'll talk about that. We'll cover what's in progress. We have some small things that we're working on, but we have some big things that we're working on as well. So we'll touch upon that. And then, as Nick said, we will do a Q&A at the end, but of course, feel free to drop in the chat or drop in the questions area anything that you've got going on. So, update 217.0. For starters, we have MFA multi-factor built into the platform via email passcode. So I'll pace through and show you each of the different steps that you should expect, and then show you what it's going to look like when we send out an MFA token. So this is going to be configurable under settings and the user's area. So previously there was just a login banner that you could configure, and it was static. Now it's got three separate areas, two of which I'll cover on the call today. So with MFA, we have it as of right now. We have it via email passcode, and that's for all user types. Once it's all in or all out. So once you enable it, all users are going to need to authenticate into the platform via that email MFA. When it comes to one of the things that we added was if you have an LDAP user, maybe you have like a .local domain, or maybe you have certain users that might not have email accounts. So in a settings area for the users, it's going to have you, if you enable the MFA, it's going to make sure that all users have email accounts in which to receive those email passcodes. So you'll go into settings, you'll switch that on, and then you're going to be prompted upon login. So you get the same login screen, but once you put in your user and password, you're going to get prompted with this one-time passcode area. Once you go to log in and this pops up, a toast notification will pop up in the bottom right to let you know that there was a successful email send for that email passcode. In your inbox for your email, you'll receive an email, and this is going to be leveraging the settings, whatever you've set up for mail settings. So by default, there is a local email app, within NeQter that is used for local sends and sending email and what have you. We highly recommend, if you haven't already. A lot of our users have, but if you haven't, we recommend setting up SMTP Mail Relay under the mail settings, just to make sure that there's going to be successful delivery of mail. It's leveraging your authenticated email, and to make sure things don't end up in spam. And you can also test that feature via the send test email, where you can just make sure everything is running smoothly. So when you receive that passcode in your mailbox, it's either going to be the default NeQter mail, or it's going to be whatever you've authenticated against. So I on my end set up compliance at NeQterLabs.com as the email that I'm receiving, and you'll get the subject of NeQter one-time passcode. So get that in your email, then you're going to be able to log in. So I'm just going to show you real quick what that looks like. It's pretty straightforward, but just want to make sure everyone is on the same page and understands what we're going to be getting. So I'm going to log in on this app here. So got my email, got my password, going to log in here, and let me just reload this page real quick. This is a different test box that we have. Okay. So let me So this pops up here. Going to be able to come into here, and we'll refresh this, get these passcodes. So this one just came in. They should stack when they come in to your email. And once we enter that in, we're just going to land on the home page here. So very straightforward. Again, it's going to be in settings. I'll actually use this one. It's going to be in settings. You're going to go into users, and then just flip that switch on. So we go to users, and we come over here. Right on this test box is disabled. So we just hit enable, and then we're good to go. And again, highly recommend that you go into mail and set up a SMTP mail relay server, which you can test up at the top right here by putting in a test email. So that's what MFA looks like. In future, we're going to look to support additional methods, things like different authenticator apps, like Microsoft Authenticator app, Google Authenticator. But right now, we have email to start. So that's what that looks like. But we also have some other things to cover. So additionally, outside of MFA, we have a new reports area. So reports are going to be a couple different things. The new reports feature is going to have a different report types, as well as a new scheduling system. On launch, we included a couple reports, namely the general system report, which we had previously, but we added a couple things to it, and the full inventory report, which if you've been using the hosts area, you know that you can download that in the hosts tool, but now you can have that be scheduled and have that show up in this reports area here. Lastly, we do have custom reports. Those are based on saved searches. So any saved search that you create, you're going to be able to generate a report. On launch, we support JSON and Excel formats for that. So with the new reports on schedules, there's also going to be on-demand reports that you can configure. So up at the top right, where there's the different menu icons like log out and power off and stuff like that, the doc site, etc. There's now a new play button that when selected, you're going to be able to generate an instant on-demand report again, for the general system report, the full inventory, or a custom report. When you generate that on-demand report, it's going to save that data and it's going to save that report that was generated. So it's not a, let me run it and it just, disappears. That data is going to be recorded. That action in that report is going to be recorded. And with on-demand reports, in addition to scheduled reports, that data is stored until that report is deleted. As of right now, we don't have a rotation for reports, so it's in there in perpetuity. Since reports that are generated have a small footprint, so shouldn't impact storage too much. As this gets used, as we add more reports, that may change. But right now, the nice thing is you can go and if you have, 12 months worth of report data in there and then run an on-demand report, do the last 12 months, you're going to be able to pull all of the data points that are stored in those reports. And that's going to be outside of log data and in the archiving settings that you have. So this is independent of that. Just wanted to emphasize that. And for NeQter report schedules, you're going to be able to run reports daily, weekly, and monthly. As I just mentioned, data can be pulled as far back as 1 year. So we have 12 months as the max that you're going to be able to run in any given report. You can have these reports be delivered to multiple email addresses. And by default, scheduled reports are run at midnight according to your system time on your NeQter. So I'm going to show you what that looks like real quick, just to get your eyes on what the new reports looks like. So as I mentioned up at the top right here, we're going to have this play button, and we can run a general system report that by default is in HTML. And if I want to see the last month, I run this report. It's going to preview and show up on the screen for me right here. I can then save it off and download it if I wanted to. If I go into the reports area, which that's also another thing, the events tab has been renamed to reports. Just we wanted to highlight and make sure that people understood where the new reports are. So if you go into that side tab, which if you don't have it locked like I do, it's just going to be this envelope. We click on the envelope, we go into reports up at the top here, and now we can see all reports that have run. And as you can see, 112, I just ran that general system report. I can pull it up again, I can save it off again. And I have a couple schedules in here. If you were running the general system report previously, that got migrated over. You're going to be able to customize the report names. Again, you'll be able to select one of 3 reports currently. And then if I want to have that report get sent to me, I currently have it set to my email, but you can select multiple emails. Now, the email doesn't need to be a user that's within the platform. This can be any email address. So even if a member of your company, a member of your team doesn't have access to NeQter, they can still receive those emailed reports as they are run. So that's an on-demand report. If I wanted to make a new schedule, we can select the frequency, how much data or the time range that we want on the report, and have that run. We also are having the full inventory report. So some users, wanted that. If you want to receive a weekly recorded full inventory report, have that get stored in here in Excel, you're going to be able to do that. That's what this new reports feature is all about. And lastly, if you wanted to run, say, like an on-demand custom report, this is going to be based upon saved searches. So it's going to be searches that you save. That's also going to be NeQter default templates that we have, visualizing the dashboards or other data types in the tool. So one of the ones that I had selected, or I could, select a new one here, failed user logons. If I wanted to see that for Active Directory and have that be in Excel, I can run that report and save that off. I previously ran a custom report and open it up here. So it's just going to have all of the logs line by line in this Excel. This one specifically was a custom report for administrative successful logon, or successful logons for admin accounts for Active Directory. So that got generated and I can view it here. If you wanted to receive that via email, that Excel, you're going to be able to do so. So we're going to be continually building out more and more reports. That's our goal. One of the biggest things that we ask is for you to tell us what you want to see. So we're going to be layering in common things that we already have in the tool, like a vulnerability scan report that's independent from the vuln scanner, other areas of the tool, and we're going to be building those out. And we're going to be including more report types, such as PDF, etc. And we're going to be layering in executive level summaries at the first either certain report types or at the beginning of certain reports. But big thing is we want you to let us know what we can do from a report standpoint, because every report that we make gets pushed out to everyone. So everyone benefits. And then, of course, any new searches that are created to create those reports are also going to be integrated into the update and release and available in other areas of the platform. So it's a really exciting feature, but we need to know what we need to include. We're, of course, going to include ones that we think people want to see, but we want to hear from you guys to let us know what we should be including. So those are the two main big things with this update, MFA and reports. We also included, this was important for some users, and I think everyone is going to benefit with the auto logout improvement, because we know some companies that work with us have large teams and might have an internal NOC or have their NeQter dashboards, visualized on screens and in big rooms and stuff like that. So this could potentially be helpful where you can configure the auto logout now under settings, under the users, so that you can see, you can set it where it can be 10 minutes at the minimum. You can push it up all the way to 2 hours, 120 minutes, or you can disable it entirely. So if you don't want auto logout, you can turn it off, or you can adjust as needed. And that was a request that we had gotten. We obviously recommend that it stays on. If you have a period of inactivity, you're not using the NeQter, should auto log out and you'll have to log in again. Now you'll have to log in again with MFA. But this was something that we added. So under settings, under users, you'll be able to either disable or change the time frame for your auto logout setting. So that's everything that's new from a NeQter standpoint. And then lastly, we did add in support for Juniper firewalls. So if you utilize Juniper equipment, if you wanted to, instead of pushing to the other input, have a dedicated input and dashboard and index for Juniper, you can do that now. So this will just be the same, much like the other dashboards or other syslog inputs. You'll go into settings, go into inputs, add a new input, and then just select Juniper from the drop-down menu. You'll be able to see outcomes, severity levels, source, destination, countries, IPs, and ports much like you can with all of the other firewall vendors. So that is new. New input support with Juniper. So those are all the new things that we included in 2.17.0. Other enhancements include just a couple nuts and bolts type stuff. We added a loading spinner to the NeQter landing page. That was something we didn't have before. I'm sure you didn't notice, but now that's there. There was some SonicWall legacy categories that needed to be added. Some SonicWall dashboards were breaking. Certain event types weren't showing up, so those have been added. We added in a message to the SSP export documents if there's no revisions, there's no revision data. And then we released, or rather removed the early release badges from the host tool. It's no longer in early release. It's been in there for a couple of years at this point. And then, as I had mentioned, the events tab has been renamed to reports, just so you know where to find those that new reports area. So that's everything new, everything fixed. In terms of moving ahead, forging ahead, before we get there, just wanted to comment again. We do need to update for the latest update 2.17.0, with this feature on the doc site. But one of the things, of course, we have these monthly webinars, but the doc site now has a what's new and update to whatever the update is, 2.17. And we'll pace through much like, I've shown you here today. So that needs to get updated. It's been the new year, with the holiday week. We'll get that updated. So just wanted to highlight that in case you've missed that from the past couple webinars. And as I was mentioning before, what's new, forging ahead, some big ideas. So on the small term front, new report types, like I had mentioned, let us know what types of reports that you want to see as often as you like. Just send in a support request, email Nick, email me, let us know what you want to see. Outside of that, some two big things that we're moving on. We're going to be transitioning, and this is going to be not really noticeable on your end. It's just going to be an update, much like we had that Ubuntu standing in place upgrade last year, where you pressed update. This won't be as intense as that, but you're not going to have to do anything except press that update button on these changes. But just to keep you guys in the know, be transparent about what we're doing. We're going to be transitioning away from Elastic, which we use under the hood for data management and visualization, and moving over to the OpenSearch platform. Various different reasons why we're doing this, ranging from licensing, but then also capability and support. So we're going to be open to a lot of new integration types, new ways of providing the platform, new ways of visualizing data, new ways of alerting, new ways of reporting. So it's going to be very influential, this update, in terms of how you use the tool. We're going to be keeping as much of the UI as we can, because obviously you don't want to learn a new tool. We don't want to learn a new tool. So we're going to be keeping a lot of the same navigational elements and what have you. So be familiar from that standpoint. But just under the hood, we're moving to OpenSearch. And then in parallel, we're also going to be changing. This is going to be more on the agent side and how data gets into NeQter, with a transition over to FluentBit. Previously, we've been using Beats communicating with Logstash. Now with FluentBit, it's going to be a uniform, basically data sending and ingestion platform that we're going to be layering into the tool. So again, how you use NeQter and how we get logs into the platform is just going to be, it's going to be the same on your end. We're just changing the technology that we're using for that. And then we're going to be continuing agent enhancements, again, with that Fluent bit transition. So as I know more, the reason I'm talking vague about this is we've just broken ground on both of these projects. We're still in the learning phases, the discovery, building out the proposals, and then working on development. But we will be having bug fixes. We will continue to have new report types, new small features, but we're putting majority of our efforts on the OpenSearch and Fluent bit transitions. So that's everything that we have going on in progress. Outside of that, Happy New Year, and any questions that I can tackle on the call today. Okay. So any questions you can drop in the chat or in the questions area. I think I see someone have a hand raised, but we don't have back and forth audio, so it's going to have to be in the form of text. Nick, do you see any questions on your end, or based upon everything I've gone through, anything you think I should cover, or any questions that you had?
I don't have any questions that have come in yet. I do see one question did just come in from Greg asking about a project we're working on for splitting off the system security plan portion of the platform. Greg, we will email you separately about that after the webinar so that we can have a more direct communication with you on it. Outside of that, one thing that I was asked about during a quarterly review earlier this morning that might be good to highlight would be different ways that you could use the new reports feature to display data from your dashboards in a way that makes it easily readable for like a management level.
Yeah, so right now in terms of the custom reports, they're going to be in that JSON and Excel format for launch. But one of the things that we are going to be rolling out in subsequent updates is going to be highly formatted and visual executive summary reports in that reports feature. So that's not something. So we do have that general system report, which highlights we do have that general system report that's going to show events that occurred, any alerts that triggered progress on compliance, and then any changes for network monitored events. So there is this report, but in terms of summaries or summaries of dashboards, stuff like that, that is what we are building out and going to be releasing in subsequent updates. So we're not there yet, but we are close to that type of functionality.
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard you say that we had those in for like general dashboard reports earlier, but I must have misheard you when you were going over saved searches.
Yeah. So, in terms of saved searches, you can show stuff from dashboards, and that's going to be in that Excel Excel format, so, if that's readable enough. Like, for example, I had that report that was generating events that happened for a successful logon. And this is directly from the Active Directory dashboard, the Save Search, in terms of pretty graphs and charts, stuff like that. That is what we're going to be releasing later on in continued and enhanced updates. But you can pull data that is showing up in reports in this format currently. So hopefully that clears things up.
Yeah, that's all I can think of personally. You went over everything else very well as far as what's been released with 2.17.
Awesome. Well, we will wait to see if there's any more questions. Just for a couple minutes. And then we'll look to so I don't think there are any other further questions that have come in, but we'll just let people type away. And again, just to call out, these are recorded and will show up on our NeQter Labs YouTube channel.
All right. I think that's gonna be all for questions. Greg, just as a reminder, Patrick and I will reach out to you separately from this on your question. I think we can wrap up the first webinar of the new year. Everybody have an excellent rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you all again next month.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully you're having a great start to the new year, and we'll see you next month.